So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Welcome to my 2018 MacBook Pro 15-inch first impressions video. Now, I know this video is late compared to everybody who's made a video on that. I don't really care because I made this video because I want to be transparent with you about the computers I'm using to create these videos, because a lot of people ask me, what are you using to make these videos? I get this comment quite frequently. And the reason why I didn't upgrade when it first came out was because my 2015 Retina MacBook Pro was doing just fine, even though it was only the base model. However, in the past couple of months, like, September, October, when we were really putting out a lot of iPhone XR and XS Max videos, the MacBook Pro from 2015 was kind of giving me a little bit of issues. It was getting like really loud. It was taking a little bit longer than I would like it and a little bit longer than it used to. So I decided to sell that one off and purchase this new one. Now, that sale did not pay for the entirety of this MacBook, as this MacBook came in at $24.99. This is the 512 gigabyte SSD model. So I did get the space gray color, as it does match my 2018 iPad Pro 12.9. That's really just nice to have matching color products sometimes. But then again, every year Apple kind of changes the color slightly of every model, so it probably won't last, but for now they do match. This one does have the 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports right here. And one of the things that made me resist going to the MacBook Pro of these newer years for a long time has been the port selection here, these Thunderbolt ports. But however, I'm actually liking them now because they're a little bit more minimal to me, and now that there's so many adapters on the market, I don't think Apple's ever going to go back to the old style ports. So I'm going to just adjust to using the newer ports. It's no big deal because I already have an adapter for it. Now, one thing I really like about the MacBook Pro, and it continues to be the same, is it basically will lift up very easily here, and it's pretty balanced here at the bottom when you lift up the lid. So that's nice. This also is nice that before on the older MacBook Pros, we didn't have Touch ID. We have it here now. I think in the future, we're going to see Face ID for the MacBook Pros, but this one has Touch ID, which is still pretty cool compared to the older MacBook Pro, which you just had to type your password in. So I really like that so far on my first impressions of this laptop. Now, one thing a lot of people might be interested in knowing about is how's the touch bar? And so far, when I first got out of the box, I was like, okay, this is going to be a little inefficient. But if you do go to system preferences for this MacBook and you go to the keyboard, you can see there's touch bar settings and system preferences that will just allow you to expand the control strip. And when you do that, then you could basically leave the touch bar kind of the way it was before on the older MacBook Pros all the time, where you just have your keyboard like keys, you have your brightness control. So for those people who don't want to kind of adjust to all those apps and things that are happening on the touch bar, you could simply go into system preferences and expand the control strip to always show the way that you're used to it on the older MacBooks, for example. Okay, so one thing that might concern some users is the butterfly keys here on the keyboard, and Apple has been improving these, as there has been some complaints on these in the past, and they don't no longer get, they're supposed to not get dust and debris in there anymore, as some users have talked about in prior editions of 2017, 2016 models. And this one is better than ever, and I actually kind of like this keyboard right here. It's a little bit louder than the 2015 models or the older MacBook Pros. However, it's quieter than the ones on the 2017 MacBook Pro as well as the 2016. So have a listen for yourself to see how these keys sound. So it's kind of loud. It's not super quiet, this keyboard. However, it's pretty accurate, and I'm already pretty fast on this keyboard. Now, I really like this giant trackpad for the MacBook Pro of 2018. It's the same one that was on, I think, 2016 as well as 2017 models, but it's just oversized, and I really like that because it works very well with the gestures. And if you didn't have a mouse for your laptop, this trackpad is really all you would really need. I mean, you could probably get by just using this trackpad alone. Okay, so in terms of design, if you're coming from anything from 2015 or earlier, these new 2018 MacBook Pros are gonna feel like a treat to use. However, if you have a 2016 or a 2017 model, those devices also feel very similar, if not identical in design, to this new MacBook Pro. However, this is probably the most portable 15-inch laptop you're gonna find out there, one of them. And it's not the lightest thing. I've felt pretty light laptops before. This one's pretty weighty, but that gives it a substantial feel in the hand. But it's classic Apple. They know how to do design here on laptops, and it's just a beautiful piece of aluminum laptop right here. So really do love the design here overall for this MacBook Pro of 2018. So one thing that's awesome about this laptop is its display is actually higher resolution than the older 15-inch models from like 2015. Remember, I'm coming from the perspective of upgrading from a 2015. This is 2880 by 1800, so very high resolution, very bright display in comparison. I think it's brighter than the older MacBook Pro that I have. It feels like that so far. And the True Tone technology and the color calibration is just spot on for this laptop, and I can't wait to do some more videos and create thumbnails with this thing because it's going to be really fun to work on this guy right here. So if I go into system preferences here and then I go into displays and I go down here, you can see True Tone is activated. I can go ahead and turn that on and off. It'll automatically adapt to the environment. So it matches the iPhone experience, it matches the iPad experience, and that really kind of makes it a cohesive experience if you're using, you know, an iPhone, an iPad, a Mac. It just really goes together now that they have True Tone on these all new laptops here. So you can see just any wallpaper you put, any photos you're looking at, it's just going to look beautiful. Video is going to look great on this display as well. I'm very pleased with the panel that Apple did implement here for this new MacBook. Okay, so the software on this computer is great because it does have some awesome video editing applications like iMovie as well as Final Cut Pro on this device. So if I go here into the App Store and I go to Final Cut Pro, I also purchased this video editing software. I use it quite a bit on my iMac as well. This is one of the main reasons why I continue to use Mac. This blows away many other video editors in terms of rendering speed, and that's important to me because I like to get my videos out quickly so I can start researching and learning about what's going to be the next thing I'm going to put out. So I don't really got time to be sitting around waiting all day for a render as I move pretty quickly and I try to get a video out every day. This really helps me do my job efficiently here on Final Cut Pro. I really have been enjoying macOS Mojave's stacks feature where you can clean up your desktop and bring things over to the right. And I also enjoy this new dark mode here. I wish they would bring this to the iPhone and the iPad, this dark mode that really darkens out the OS for nighttime. So overall, the macOS Mojave in general still operates like the older versions of macOS. So what you're used to, you're still gonna know how to use your Mac. You just have to learn a couple new features, and I like the new news app that comes in this as well. Voice memos is also pretty nice, and some of the icons have been redesigned. So it's a really clean looking software, and it's very efficient and simple to use for everyday use. Okay, so here's the real reason why I invested into this MacBook Pro. Check out these Geekbench scores. The last ones I had on the 2015 were like 4,000 in the single and like 14,000 in the multi-core. So this one is a performance beast here for the MacBook Pro, and Geekbench doesn't tell the full story. When you are rendering and opening up applications like iMovie, for example, or Final Cut Pro, they're just going to open much faster than before, and they're also going to render your projects much faster than before. So that's one of the main reasons that this MacBook Pro can be worth it for some. A couple other things, Touch ID is a very nice addition here, and the speakers on this MacBook Pro are just super loud here for both the right and the left channels. Super loud speakers here, and I like that this MacBook Pro still has the headphone jack. We might not see that on future MacBook Pros, but it's still here for this one, so still like that a lot here about this device. Okay, so in conclusion, I think the 2015-inch MacBook Pro is a fantastic computer with great design, as well as now amazing power under the hood, a fixed keyboard. This one is the most refined of this design we have seen yet. I think this MacBook Pro is definitely overkill for a lot of students and people that just want to use a MacBook Pro for basic computing tasks. This is really overkill. This is really designed for people who are going to be using, you know, Adobe Premiere, iMovie, Final Cut Pro, and they're going to be using it heavily every single day, as well as Photoshop, tons of editing and tons of, you know, professional based programs. That's where this one comes in handy. The reason I got it mainly is because that power of this MacBook does give me much faster render times. And that's important because a lot of things you guys don't see is sometimes I'll be editing a video or something for you all and something will go wrong. I'll forget to split some clip and then I got to go back in, fix it, and re-render. And if a video takes like 10 to 20 minutes to render, that can be the difference between getting out the video at the time I set my goal for and not setting my goal. So with having such fast render times and this power of this MacBook Pro, if I do make mistakes and I have to go back and correct those mistakes, I now have the efficiency and the power to quickly re-render things out so I get the proper video out there. Also sometimes, because I work in the studio, I do have an iMac, I have to leave because in Chicago there's a lot of noise around me and I don't really work well with a lot of noise around me. So When it gets too loud, I do pack up and I go off to the library, or I go off to a Starbucks, or I go off to a cafe, something, and I do my work there where it's a lot quieter, and I need a machine that can handle my work just like the iMac can in the studio. That's another good justification for this premium computer here. If you're traveling frequently or you're doing your work on the go in the field, this one is definitely going to give you desktop power. And that's it for my first impressions. If you guys found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. If you guys want to know more about this MacBook Pro, let me know down below. I know some of you are going to have questions about some older MacBook Pros. Many of them still run very well, and a lot of them are updated to macOS Mojave these days, so that really helped out as well. So let me know your thoughts, questions, comments below. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, enjoying, click that like button for me. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more. Thank you very much for watching. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.